The difference between the XD and the XDM is basically to fit the trigger bar, you're going to have to put this piece back in every time. Put the lever in, put the push it forward and push it back. Otherwise, the sear won't come down. So that's something you'll have to keep in mind. With the XD, you won't have to do that. You'll be able to fit the trigger bar without having to do that part of it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to grab a trigger bar. Here's the factory trigger bar. You'll notice this pin is it's spot welded in here. That can come loose. We've seen them break here and here. So that's why we've redesigned our trigger bar so that it's one piece. We've reinforced it in the main area of breakage that we've seen. And again, you'll see it's not welded. It's milled out of one piece of stainless steel. We oversize it in two areas. We oversize it back here so that it presets the trigger. That pre-pulls the trigger for you, gets rid of some of that take-up. And then the over travel, it's oversized up here. Those are the areas that you'll need to fit. The first check that you'll do once you have this in here is to put the trigger bar in place, and we're going to check the reset here to make sure the trigger bar resets, because again it is oversized to get rid of some of that take up. So to do that, we'll replace the trigger spring with our trigger spring, put it in there, curly Q to the right, put the pin in, rotate it down, and to put this in here we'll just slide it in, turn it over, and then we're going to hold the trigger as we do this, put the pin in, and then it's in there. What you want to do to check and make sure that this resets is hold down the striker safety lever and push this down. If it pops back up, then you're good to go. We've already pre-fit that part, so there's no fitting needed. But if there was, you would feel it catching, and that means that when the slide moves, it has a cutout here that depresses the trigger bar, and that's what resets the trigger system. So if holding the lever down on the XD or the XDM and you push this down, doesn't pop right back up, then you need to remove some material on the back of the on the back part of the fin on the trigger bar, and then you would want to polish it up using stones, or you could use paper. Stay away from Dremel tools and stuff like that. It'll just cause you a lot of headache. So once you have that fit, we're going to go ahead and reinsert it, pop it in, and again on the M it's a little more of a pain if you decide you want the auto takedown feature in there. We'll just put the transfer bar in there. We're going to put the takedown lever, because without this in here the trigger won't function. So we're gonna fake like it's together. Now you'll notice that the lever sticks off to the side a little bit. When you're testing this, you'll have to push this all the way, because it actually is enough where it can cause it not to work properly. To check and make sure it works, you can pull the trigger. You'll see that I'm going to take this lever out so you can see. You'll see that this trigger bar hits the frame here. You'll notice there's a radius there also. So when you're fitting this and you're removing material to allow the sear to go down far enough, make sure that you keep in mind there's a radius here. I generally just put a 45-degree bevel and then fit this area here so it stops on the frame. Again, you'll see how that works. Actually, you won't see how it works because we're using the M model, and we have to put this silly lever back in. And now you can see it move forward. Also, you do have to have the grip safety depressed. The way the grip safety works is it actually blocks the downward movement of the sear. So to get it to work, see again, if I don't hold it right, it's not going to pull it down. So now that we have it in there, we fit the one point, we're going to fit the second point. To do that, I've already taken the striker and the buffer spring out of the slide. We're going to put the striker back in the slide loose so that we can see the interaction of the parts. We're going to put the slide on the frame. We're going to make it so that it just, you see that there? So they're just interfaces. So you can see how these parts interact. The important thing is that the sear will move down far enough, and again I have to press the grip safety and I have to hold the lever because we don't want to reassemble the whole gun. And then as we pull it, we want to make sure that the sear moves far enough to drop that striker with no spring pressure. You can get it where it'll actually drop it with the spring, but then it generally has a mushy feel to it because it's not breaking clearly. The other thing that you want to verify in here is that it pushes that the striker safety block moves down far enough for the striker to clear it, and you can see here obviously it did. So to accomplish that again, you just need to remove material from the front of the trigger bar until the sear will move down far enough to activate that.